So I think everyone knows these days were huge for the FNAF community. But if you somehow don't know what I'm talking about, it's about the release of the second movie, and a lot of people and critics were disappointed by it. Now, everything I'm going to say in this video is strictly my opinion about the movie, and everyone can have their different opinions by this, and you can feel free to leave a comment saying if you liked it or not. Now, just so you know, I'm not really a movie guy. I mean, I don't really watch movies, but this time it was something different, so I really had to watch this. I guess I'm easily amazed by movies because I don't really know a lot of things in this industry. And also, I forgot to say that this video will contain spoilers about the movie, of course, because it's a review of the movie. So starting off with the intro, I think it was one of the best parts of the entire movie because it basically showed the death of the puppet and basically built the plot of the movie itself. Basically, if I'm not mistaken, it happens in 82. So this is kind of I know that the movies are basically based in an alternative universe than the games, and basically it happens in 82. I don't know when that happens in the game exactly, but I don't think it's 82 because the movie itself happens in 2002, if I'm not mistaken, 20 years after that. And I think this is one of the reasons why people don't really like this movie, and neither the first one, because basically it's not in the same universe and the plot is kind of weird. But let's be honest, it's FNAF. Everything about the plot is super weird and you don't really know exactly a lot of things, if they happen, when they happen, and how they happen. And this was one of the reasons why I didn't really like the first movie when it came out. But you know, I came to the conclusion that it's better like this, because imagine if they did a movie based entirely on the gameplay. It would be so boring, because imagine almost 2 hours of just sitting in an office and putting your mask on and winding a music box. It's not really entertaining, and that's why it's better to build up a story in the movie rather than focus it on the gameplay. Rather than the first game, at least in this one, in this movie, there's a bit of gameplay, which is pretty awesome. Too bad it was kind of short, but I kind of understand it. But it was super cool that they added this, because I was really disappointed that the first movie didn't even have the same office. At least they learned from the first movie, I guess, and did the same office in this one. Also, I like the fact that it's kind of different in this universe, because Puppet can actually possess humans, which does not happen in the games. It never happened in the games, which I know it's a bit of a weird detail, but it's kind of awesome that it's different, and it can expand the story in different ways by this. If you saw the movie, what happens at the end specifically. But I kind of get it. It's kind of weird that they made Puppet basically the villain, when in the game is basically exactly the opposite, because she doesn't blame, I mean, her spirit, Charlie, doesn't blame William for the killings. She blames the parents, which, you know, I can kind of understand this from the movie, but it's so weird that they shifted this from the games, which, I don't know, maybe they should have done something similar to the games from this point. I mean, I don't know, this was a bit of a confusing thing. And also the fact that they made Michael Afton bad, which is another. When that reveal came, I was a bit shocked. I mean, I kind of felt that something was going to happen when it came to that character, because he was kind of weird from the beginning, and I kind of felt that something's going to happen at the end with him. And yeah, it was basically, it shocked me. Also, I really like how they made the animatronics, and the first movie as well, but I feel like they did a better job with the toys and the withers in this one. I mean, they almost look, the 99% look the same as in the games. So this is so, for me, it's amazing. I mean, how much time do you have to spend for this, and how much money do you have to spend for this? Because it's freaking insane for me. And also, I think my favorite part in the entire movie is that Vanessa's dream sequence, when she sees baby for like 3 seconds. Bro, I feel like that's one-on-one exactly the same model as in the games. Even the freaking proportions, she's like 2 meters in the game, something like this, even more, and they made the same, almost the same proportions. Either that, or she was just a child and it seemed bigger. But that's super cool. That's my favorite part in the entire movie, and I hope that they're going to make something about sister location, or about baby in general, because I really want to see the Funtime animatronics. And also, there's another Funtime, I mean, not really Funtime, there's another character from sister location that appears briefly at the end on that music box. If you saw it, there's the Ballora on the music box. And also, one thing I remembered about Circus Baby, I know it kind of looks like she's kind of CGI, but I don't think she's CGI because I watched Doko's video about his review on the movie, and he said that he saw the animatronic on the set when he went and recorded it. So it's kind of insane that they made a full robot for just like 5 seconds. But that's another thing that makes me wonder if they're going to make a Sister Location movie or if she's going to appear in the next one, because I don't know if they would make a robot just for 5 seconds in a movie. Another really cool thing in this movie were the Easter eggs. I really like that meme from Abdul, I think it was his name, that with the FNAF 1 beatbox when Mike presses the Freddy plush. It was so unexpected. I think that was the weirdest and funniest Easter egg in the entire movie. And another Easter egg that I feel so bad that I didn't see it. There's Shadow Bunny for like 1 second in the office sequence. I didn't see it, but one of my friends saw it and he told me that he saw it, but I was not quick enough because I wasn't looking at the screen right then, and that was, I felt really bad, but I saw it on the internet and it's super cool that they did that, because they did an Easter egg with Shadow Freddy in the first game and they did with Shadow Bunny in this one. So it's super cool that we got both shadows in both movies. And at the time I forgot that they showed Shadow Freddy in the first movie, and I thought they would show him in this one as well, but I haven't seen him. I don't know if he is in this one. Another favorite part from this movie, besides the one with Baby, is the fact that Henry appears in this movie. And I knew from the start that that character was Henry, because he didn't say his name from what I remember. I think it's only showed in the ending that he's Henry when he mentions that he worked. I really like that post-credit scene when he reveals that he worked for William, which is basically, I felt like it was FNAF 6, which is my favorite FNAF game, and I really want to see a movie with that. I don't know if that will happen anytime soon, but it was super cool that they introduced Henry, which was kind of obvious he was Henry because he was Charlie's father, which he's Charlie's father in the games. Now I guess I should talk about some of the bad things that I consider in this movie. First of all, it's kind of weird that there are a lot of funny sequences, and now don't get me wrong, it's cool that it's not only horror, but it's basically FNAF. I know that FNAF is also has a sense of humor. I think there are too many funny parts in this one. I mean, I was kind of forgetting that I was watching a horror movie until the next jump scare came, and I don't know, I feel like, I mean, don't get me wrong, those parts were really funny, but the one with the Easter egg, the FNAF beatbox, the one from the restaurant with the crumbs from the bread, I don't understand if that's a reference to something or if that means something. And I think one of the few worst things, I mean, worst, I don't really want to say worst, but it felt kind of weird. The ending felt kind of weird because it felt a bit rushed. And I felt like I was watching those 5 Funk United Credits videos, which I really liked in my childhood, but I really don't know what their intentions were. I heard that part was based on the Twisted Ones book where they are fighting. I don't know if that's true, because I haven't read that book. I don't know what happens in that book. I don't know if that's true, but I kind of tend to go more with this animation. I feel like Scott really did this in honor of the animation, because it was one of the best animations, and it still is one of the best animations with FNAF, and super popular. And I think everyone who is an OG in FNAF knows about it and should know about it. And this was basically brain rot before brain rot. They also made a really great job when it comes to the actors, because of course everyone knows the actors from the first movie, Vanessa's actor, Josh Hutcherson with the whistle baby, and yeah, but they also did a good job with the toy animatronics, with the actors for the toy animatronics, because everyone knows that Toy Chica is played by Megan Fox. I don't know what they thought when they made this decision. I'm really grateful that nothing happened in the theater. And also, everyone knows that Toy Bunny was played by MatPat. I knew that was his voice, because I know that he can make kind of a high-pitched voice, because if you know that Random Encounters Cuphead musical, he was one of the characters, and he's pretty good at doing high-pitched voices. And of course, he also has some filters in the voice, so that it makes it a bit robotic, maybe to make it even more pitched. And also, it's kind of weird that it's basically kind of canon Toy Freddy is voiced by Kellen Goff, who, from what I know, who actually voices Funtime Freddy and Glamrock Freddy. So basically, Toy Freddy in the movie has kind of a canon voice because it's the same voice for other Freddys in the games. And also, I really liked the fact that basically every game from this franchise has a reference in the movie. Because first FNAF, of course, it's the pizzeria. FNAF 2 is the game that the movie is based on. FNAF 3 at the end, I found it a bit weird, but at the same time funny how in the end that guy said that we found one, a real one. Exactly the same words as found in FNAF 3, because that was a reference, but also it's kind of sounded a bit weird. FNAF 4, basically that house sequence, the dream sequence where people said that it looked a bit like FNAF 4. I don't really caught that. And also dream theory thing in the movie. I don't really know about that one. Sister location because of Circus Baby. FNAF 6 because of Henry and that speech at the end where he says leaving that space, exactly like in FNAF 6. Even two references to Ultimate Custom Night. One where I think Abby says that Toy Freddy has fat plastic fingers, something like this. Exactly the same thing that Toy Freddy can say when he kills you. And another thing, something that Puppet says, that's exactly the same line from the game, that thing with I don't hate you. So yeah, pretty cool. I don't know if there's a reference to Help Wanted, but I know there's that thing where it says on the screen security breach, which may be a reference to security breach. So basically, almost every FNAF game has a reference in this one, which is super cool, exactly like in the first movie. And I'm really curious to see what they're going to do in the next one. I'm really curious how they're going to do the plot, because there's basically two plots at this point, because one is Vanessa being possessed by Puppet. I don't know if she's going to turn into Vanny, because that wouldn't make any sense, because Puppet doesn't turn Vanessa into Vanny in the games. It's Glitchtrap that does this. And the other plot is about Springtrap. I think maybe they're going to be connected to each other. I mean, maybe the possessed Vanessa is going to help Springtrap, which is kind of weird again, because Springtrap killed Puppet, but she doesn't know that. Basically, I'm really curious to see what's going to happen in the future. In the end, I feel like this movie was better than the first one in all point of views, the story, the budget, everything. I believe that most people hate this movie because it's not really the same as the games, but bro, like I said, it would be super weird to do some movies based entirely on the games, because in the first few games there's not really that much, there's not that much plot. It's mainly gameplay. Until Sister Location, you just do gameplay most of the time. Sister Location has a lot of lore, which you can actually do. I believe you can actually do a full movie based entirely on the gameplay of Sister Location, because it also has a lot of story in that gameplay, and it's more dynamic. You don't do the same thing every night. On the other 4 games, it's just gameplay, boring gameplay that you do the same thing every night. So people have to learn that can't really be the same as the games. And also, this movie is made more for the fans, which a lot of critics don't even know the games and what's happening in the games, and it's kind of logical that if you don't really know what happens in the games, you won't really know what happens in the movie, because even though it's an alternative universe, it's basically connected, because there's the same characters, there's the same locations, almost the same plot, so it all connects to the games in some way. So yeah, this was my review of the FNAF 2 movie. This was like, again, this was strictly my opinion. Everyone has different opinions. If you didn't like the movie, just don't try to transfer this to other persons, to imply this to them that the movie is just not good, because those people may have a different opinion. A lot of fans, the thing is, a lot of fans like this movie because they're FNAF fans. I mean, like someone said, critics tend to over criticize things, and the fans tend to glaze the things a bit too much. So it's good to be in between. Like I said, I'm kind of in between, but I'm more on the glazing part, but not really that much glaze, because like I said, it's not a perfect movie. There's still some flaws in it, but I think it was enjoyable. For a FNAF fan who's been watching these games from 2014, it was really enjoyable to wait 10 years, more than 10 years for a FNAF 2 movie. So yeah, this is the video. If you enjoyed it, like and subscribe. You can tell me in the comments ideas for videos if you have any, and you can check out my other channel for music and remixes, and I'll see you in the next one.